Okay, before I start, I'm gonna clarify that I'm not really a critic. I decided to do this because I did review Drake's Fighting Irish, so I wanted to catch up on him right now. I wouldn't consider myself a Drake fan, but I am aware of his music because, well, to be honest, you couldn't really walk outside in public without seeing one of his songs being blasted, at least like once a week minimum. So that was usually the biggest reason why I just knew Drake from, which was malls would play his songs, clubs would play his songs, co-workers would play his songs. I have friends that play his songs. So while I wouldn't consider myself a part of his fan base, I was more like a viewer of it because whether I wanted to or not, I did hear his music, especially his most popular bangers like of all time. And I don't hate a lot of his songs. It's just I prefer not listening to them. That's really my main thing. It's more like the topics he has you generally don't interest me, but I don't really think he's a bad artist or really annoying. At least besides him and that one Rihanna song, I hate that song with a passion. But everybody played it. My family forced me to listen to that shit all the time. Thankfully, I don't live with them anymore. But the way I see his new playlist is basically his ego was bruised super badly. And right now he's trying to pick himself up from where he is exactly because he's at his lowest point. There's a few ways people could really take it. For example, you could do it the Soldier Boy way and deny that you're losing relevancy and try your best to stay relevant, which sucked ass. I don't know why I'm using him as an example. He doesn't even deserve. Like the reality is you haven't heard his name until I said it. I didn't even remember he existed. I literally forgot he existed and only remembered because of his trash ass diss track against Bow Wow. That shit was horrible, but in a funny way. Or if you want to listen to something that will make you laugh, he dissed him over losing in 2K. But my opinion is basically Party Next Door is the main ones really carrying the album and the creation process, as Drake right now needs somebody to really help him get up. So Drake doesn't really change much from his main topic, which is he's trying to make a song mostly for women about intimacy, clubs, basically being together. Most of them revolve around him and like girls wanting to get with them, which is a pretty Drake topic, to be honest. Like, it's not that they can't be done in a good way for me. It's just that because the entire album is this, for me, it kind of feels like it sometimes drags on because I know exactly what the topic is. I don't expect anything different. But yeah, the best way to move on for him is to post more and more music. And it makes sense he was obviously off his game. Like, after what happened with Kendrick, dude was silent for 6 months, dropped a random ass freestyle that got. No, he didn't even drop it. I think someone leaked it. Someone leaked his freestyle. It got seen. And, he was basically depressed, drinking wine, trying his best to rap, even though he was clearly off his game. Like, this reminds me a lot of Benzino with what Eminem did to him, where it was so bad that Benzino just like collapsed onto himself.
Fuck that. We don't listen to that in the hood, bro.
A few moments later.
I don't got nothing against Eminem. I got nothing against Eminem. Eminem can rap, but I care about us more. I don't want to go through. I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't want. For 22 years, every time I do an interview, they ask me about Eminem. The fuck you want me to do? Come on, man. My daughter came into the industry figuring that, hey, I gotta be cool with Eminem because everybody's against my dad. You think this shit is fucking cool? Nah, man. We're failing as a people. Tired of this shit, man. It's just too much. I don't want to be the bad guy. I got an 8-year-old son that I dropped off at school this morning. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm all right.
I don't think Drake will be at that point because Benzino was basically, like, to put it clearly, Eminem was so above his level that Benzino, no matter what he did, he would have died anyways, even if Eminem didn't diss him. But Drake, I think that even after all this, he's still gonna be able to pick himself up, mainly because he still has music that people love to listen to. and they're gonna be popular for years. Just not as popular as he once was. Maybe like half as popular, with the exception of bangers that like everybody listens to, like Work with Rihanna, even though that song is trash, or Hotline Bling, which is fine, even though I don't prefer it. Like those are hits that are gonna forever be heard for years and years on end. Yeah. He didn't really go super hard or too exciting on this. Like the way Kendrick is right now, I would compare him to 2002 Eminem, 2008 Kanye, and 2010 Lil Wayne popularity, where they were basically the faces of hip hop at that time. And I would say Drake, at least probably 2014, I'd say, was the face of hip hop for a while. But yeah, now Kendrick is basically the face currently. He's gonna stay there for maybe a few years before someone else takes it over. We'll have to see in the future. First is CN Tower. I don't like autotune a lot of the time. So there's a few songs that just because of that, I won't rate as high as other people will think of them. But basically the whole premise of the song is I guess the girl blocked him and he keeps trying to get back with her, like sending her emails and stuff. And she's unable to find a new guy who's a ride or die. Also, I don't remember who sang the final part of the song, but that shit was ass. Like everything Drake did, I was fine with until the last part of the song. I hated it completely. I don't know who that was, but man, like if they cut him off the thing, I would give this a far higher rating. But my rating for this one would be I would kind of ignore it if it was played in the background, except for the last part. Man, that last part would be like chalk on a chalkboard. Next, there's Mothballs. To me, it sounds like a random Drake song. I can't really differentiate it from a lot of other songs, but basically he's talking about like a girl's tongue and like her mouth game and all that and how she's good at stuff. To me, this one, I don't like it. I find it a little annoying. Something About You. This one, I think would work better if like the person reviewing it was a female or a gay guy, because this song made it feel like he was trying to be intimate with me, and dude, that shit just made me feel uncomfortable. So this one, if it was a female viewer, like they might love this song, but for me, man, I just can't. When I heard the lyrics, it was like, dude, like what the fuck? It was clearly made for a female. So when my male ears heard that, dude, I just fucking died on the inside trying to get through this song. So yeah, I would burn it just because of that. But yeah, that's my opinion on Something of You. Crying in Channel. It started with Can I Trust You? It might be a reference to If Young Mantro Doesn't Trust You, I'ma Shoot You, from like, the We Don't Trust You album, which by the way, I hated almost every song on that. The worst part is Metro did a lot of good beats. It's just, man, I really don't like a lot of Future songs. Like the only time I like his songs is when he has another great artist backing him up and he's like the secondary artist. Like if Like That did not have Kendrick Lamar, I would consider it a trash song specifically because of that reason. But that's just my opinion on him. I just really don't vibe with his music. I wouldn't say he ripped off mumble rappers. He really started the whole thing and then everyone ripped him off. But because there's so many people that sound exactly like him, it makes his music quality feel worse, even though he was the first one to really do it. But basically, he's talking about bringing a girl in a private jet, giving her money, and then he wants to get a strong drink. And the girl's also a little sad that he did things with another woman that he did with her as well. That's the basic premise. Like, if I was playing a video game and it came on, I would leave it on. I wouldn't change it. So that's my opinion on it. Next, Spider-Man Superman. Sounds like the name of some random guy in Nigeria. But anyways, the whole idea is a girl with many exes who he was intimate with. He wants to save her, but he knows he can't because while she wants to become a different person, she's a broken girl basically, and he can't be with her because of that, even though he likes having fun with her. So it's the same thing as the last one. If it played in a video game, I wouldn't change it. Although I personally don't like the title just because he says that line like 2 times, but in reality, it could have been something else. Deeper. I went like 3 seconds into that and immediately gave up. I would actively burn this. I don't know who that was, but He made me want to kill myself. He made me want to burn the record and then kill myself right after burning it. Just so you know, this is a joke for anyone taking that seriously. But yeah, if I had to give you an explanation of my thoughts, I would actively burn it, and then afterward, I would like plug my ears forever and never listen to anything else ever again. A few seconds in, I hated that song so much, I would actively burn it. Like, I would literally have to watch my ears out with Justin Bieber's Baby because how bad I hated the first few seconds. I don't know who that was, but he was god awful garbage. Small Town Fame. This one, if you like him, he does a little bit of rapping, so if you love that side of Drake, you're gonna like this song. But the way I explain it is I like the first part of the song, while the little later half I don't like as much. I think it's solid enough that I would give it a second or third listen to really change my mind on it. Next is Pimmy's Dilemma, or Pimmy's, I don't really know. Basically, the whole premise is she's his girlfriend. He keeps drinking alcohol, going with his friends. He keeps getting with other girls, drunk with his friends. Her voice isn't bad, but to be honest, it's just like the same thing repeated twice and then the song ends. I preferably wouldn't listen to this again. There's not really much substance in it besides that he is a cheater. I don't know if she's talking about Drake or whoever, but yeah, he's basically a cheater, and she wants him to stay with her instead. Brian Steele sounds like actual rapping Drake. So basically, if you like Drake who like raps, this is gonna be a good song for you. After talking with a girl, he's gonna step out with the guys temporarily, and he said something about the beef and he should let it go. Definitely referring to Kendrick. I listened to it about 3 times. I actually like this one, even though I wish he went a little farther with the messaging about leaving the beef go, because the majority of it was a romance song, just with a little sprinkle of like what happened. Give Me a Hug. This title is very misleading because you'd expect it to be pathetic, but it actually isn't. He talks about people thinking he was eliminated and how he wasn't, and how he inspired people in the next generation, kind of like Hulk Hogan. I also really liked the beat switch he had. He was basically talking about people hating him and how he doesn't care right now. And at least his current actions is he's going to ignore them, get some love with some women. And I also like the second beat switch as well. The only thing I don't like is the chorus at the start of it, but I like every other part of the song. Definitely one I would actually save and listen to occasionally. Running in Houston. Sounds like a club song, basically, or a song you use at the GTA 5 Vanilla Unicorn. To be honest, for me, I would just blur it out and not really even notice anything. But yeah, that's me. It's just not interesting, not terrible, just something I would hear in the background somewhere and ignore. Lasers, basically the same thing as the last one. Meet Your Padre. If you want to see a funny comment section, go to this song. I loved all the comments. They made so many jokes. But yeah, Drake is trying out a little bit of Spanish. It's not bad per se. I think he only learned like 10 words and that was it. He did simple Spanish, nothing too complex. It wasn't terrible. It didn't sound cringy. But yeah, I really liked the beat and I actually would go back to it for the beat as well as the comments. Next is Nokia. This beat reminded me of Space Jam. Like, I could tell it had inspiration from it. So half the song I was only thinking about that just because I could hear it. Like, it didn't want to make it too obvious, but I heard a little bit of that and I just couldn't get it off of my head. This one actually goes very hard. I don't know who the other guy was, but he was actually the first like artist that was on a song with Drake that I didn't think completely sucked ass. There's also one line where Drake calls a girl a hoe because he knows the things she likes. And then he basically calls himself the same thing, which is I'm fine with it because he's at least admitting that it's not a bad thing when you do it because I do the same shit too. I like being with a bunch of women and you like being with a bunch of guys, whatever. Instead of saying it's a problem, he's really saying we both do it. Let's just both get together and have some fun. Like, I think if this was in a 2D video game, I think it would fit perfectly depending on which one it was. I would actually keep this on my playlist and listen to it occasionally. Die Trying. This sounds like a YouTuber made it. He basically vents about his friend dying to a girl, but the problem is it sounds so sexual that most people would not know that. But yeah, this is the one song that would be like sexy to play or sound sexy to play when you listen to it, it's a little depressing actually. But to be honest, I would not go back to it just because I really don't like the beat. Like, it sounds like some shit that someone would play in the background of Happy Wheels, of a Happy Wheels playthrough. Somebody Loves Me, immediately skipped. I don't know who that guy was, but fuck him. But fuck him, bro tried to give me a stroke like after 2 seconds. I didn't even listen to the whole thing. Celibacy. The whole point is a girl who voluntarily is not having intimacy for 4 months, doesn't want to do anything, and he's trying to break her streak and be with her, and he wants her to be with him. Not a bad song, but not one I would prefer listening to. But the whole point is basically he wants her even though she wants to not have intimacy right now for whatever reasons. OMW. Found it annoying. Burn it. Glorious. Before I begin, there was one part where a girl was talking about star symbols. I forgot what she said, but then a guy asked her what that means, and then she was like, "You don't care?" I hope that's a diss to girls that like star symbols, because that stuff is stupid as hell. Like, the only reason people want to be with you is not because you're star symbols. It's because you're hot. You just have a weird ass hobby. If you're not hot enough to have star symbols as a hobby, people won't be with you. Anyways, I probably lost like my 2 female viewers from this one statement alone. Outside of that, it's classic Drake if you want a little bit of him. I would just ignore the song, but it's actually pretty decent. Especially if you're a Drake fan, you'll probably love that song. When He's Gone, did not like it at all. Greedy. This one's actually this one's not a super deep one, but it's a little bit. He's talking about people switching sides and how they used to be on his side and went away. Definitely referring to the beef, like LeBron and a bunch of his fans. But then shortly after, he switches to, again, sexual topics with a girl. So overall, this album was made more for intimacy or like clubs where men and women get together. Overall, not something I would listen to as an entire project, but I will keep like I think 3 songs from it in the back of my mind just in case I want to listen to them again. So to me, it's a very good start at him getting back into music, even though he's not really at the top of his game anymore. To me, this is kind of like Drake's version of Relapse, where Eminem literally stopped using drugs, and because of that, it affected his music making ability. Like, he literally forgot how to rap. That's how bad the effects on him were. But yeah, this feels a lot like that, where a lot of people are going to clown on it, but a lot of the more serious fans will look at this and be like, this isn't the best Drake, but this is the return of Drake, where it's not that he made his best music, it's more so he's stepping back into the game the best he can, even if he's suffering a little bit from. So I think of it as that, where I don't personally like Relapse from Eminem, but I do listen to it only because I know he was coming back to his game, where he was at a point where he was just heavily off his game. Definitely better than that shitty ass Encore 2, which he made on drugs. Like, he only has 2 good songs on it, and the rest, like, you could tell that man was on drugs, because like, compared to everything else he threw before, it was just so bad. He nearly killed himself too, being on so many drugs before. So before I finish, I'm gonna let you guys off with a few things Eminem said about Drake in his song Zeus. Basically, Eminem is Zeus looking down at the other gods in this song. And because he's been in the business so long, he knows that what happened with him eventually is going to happen with Drake. This was before the beef started, so Eminem legit predicted it. But the whole premise is if you're at the top too long, people will eventually start to hate you for it. So he says something like, she says I'm trash, but she listens to Tekashi. Bitch, you lost me. Fair weather wishy-washy. She thinks a machine washed me. Swear to God, man, I'm her favorite rapper. Wish he'd cross me. That's how I had the whole planet that roots for me as in the group. And no one thinks dark as I think. When you say you ain't the GOAT, I come down like who? I got my head in the clouds like Zeus. I swear I can see through the game from a bird's eye view. You could give your whole life to the music thing. They're gonna turn around. I've seen them come and go. And Drake, they're gonna turn on you one day too. And the more you win, the sooner they do. They'll be calling you a trash bin, saying that your new one isn't better than your last. And even if it is, once they start to turn their backs, they ain't never coming back. Back in. They did it to Chance. Next, they'll be mentioning Future in the past tense, or saying adios to amigos. I ain't dissing. I'm trying to keep the shit at a C note. Some people been trying to do the shit to me, so I call them people, because they're so easy to see through them. But a fighter's all I know how to be. I got the shit beat out of me. Tripped and fell, blew out a knee, popped it back in and hopped up like fuck it. Best 2 out of 3. Yeah, man, I gotta be doing what? Something right. I got 11 years of sobriety. I'm starting to think all these people taking shots at me. Shit, it's no wonder. You could give your whole damn life to the music thing. They gon' turn around like they don't love you. So yeah, completely predicted it.